everybody, how's it going? I'm here to do the reading from today. I'm not going to take it yet. July 23rd, 2019 through the 27th, which is Saturday. The moon is in Aries and the sun is finally in Leo. So first card, balance. The last couple of days may have been extremely emotional as Venus was getting beat up by Pluto. Even my daughter, who is like the most even-keeled human being on the planet, kind of lost her shit as well. Message in a bottle. Now this is, so it's actually a quiet week astrologically. The only really big transit we'll see is that Mercury is going to conjunct Venus after her fight with Pluto. So he'll have some sort of rectifying words that bring things back into balance. And I mentioned this in my community post that, and I'm going to do a different post this week about the story of Pluto and Persephone, because it's important to understand the dynamics of the planets to understand kind of what's going on. But we have to remember Mercury is going backwards. So he's going back to talk to Pluto again, because the first time he failed. Now in mythology, that's actually how it happens. After Pluto steals Persephone and takes her down, Aries, Persephone's mother, does a scorched earth. She says, okay, well then nobody's going to eat. And Jupiter says, well, I can't have that. So he sends Hermes, Mercury, down to negotiate with Pluto and says, I'm going to need Persephone back. And he said, nope, not giving her back. Go back up to your boss. Tell him I'm keeping her. So he brings, what happens is they end up, actually, maybe I won't do that post. I just kind of did it now. They negotiate. Even Persephone doesn't really want to go. And so they work out a deal that 6 months a year she spends in the underworld. And the other 6 months a year she spends with her mother, Ceres. And so Ceres, because she finally got her daughter back for 6 months a year, she allows the earth to grow. The other 6 months a year, she's sad because she misses her daughter, and so that's when we don't have any growth. So the negotiation that Mercury is going back to Pluto to do is to bring a message from Zeus, or Jupiter in this case, that he is ready to negotiate, and he needs to find a solution where everybody wins. And so that's kind of, there were these control issues with all of these planets passing through Pluto, where he's like saying, no, here's what I want. No, here's what I want. And Pluto ultimately just doesn't want to lose his love. But he doesn't really know how, he's the Lord of the Underlord, or he's the Lord of the Underworld. People don't necessarily want to stay dead. Persephone didn't mind staying dead, but he doesn't want to lose his love. So he needs everybody to find a way that he can be happy and they can be happy. So what might be happening right now are negotiations, win-win negotiations, okay? Where it's not like any situation where there's an either or, like either I win or you win, those will be renegotiated. This is protecting treasures in reverse, right? And so, that's what I said. Pluto just doesn't want to give up his love. He doesn't think it's fair. It was Venus's fault. He fell in love with her. And so now he's like, you've given me this thing. I don't want to give it up. Let's figure something out. How do I win and how do you win? And so that's kind of the energy that's coming up here. So there's something that you're afraid to lose, and that you're holding very dearly onto. And if it's a situation where what you're going to want to do is find the place, those Mexican standoffs where everybody's holding a gun at each other. So if one fires, they all die. That's kind of the same situation. And so there has to be a negotiation where everybody gets a little bit of something that they want right now. And actually this card was face up, even though everything else is, so I'm going to keep it. And it says wide open. So I would say, like, as Mercury is going to bring Venus some information that he got from when he went into Leo. And so you'll have some sort of soothing words that maybe give you an idea of what it is that the other person wants, or you'll get some information on how to undo this deadlock. How to, remember I said Mexican standoff is 3 people. So you've got 3 people that are unhappy. Pluto always has triangular situations. And the only way out of these situations is to be open to finding a balance where everybody gets something that they want. And actually, when I was in business, we would always know that we had reached a proper settlement because everyone was unhappy. So it meant that everyone had to give up something that they wanted in return for something else. So when all 3 parties were like, well, I didn't get what I want, then that's usually a good deal. So what you might want to be looking for in your negotiations or as you make plans is, how does everybody find something that makes them happy, and yet no one is completely the absolute total victor of whatever the situation is? I'm using a different tarot deck this week because I got it on Sunday with the Neptune Moon conjunction. So I'm not going to take those because I didn't ask yet. It was a 2 and 3 of Wands. Can I have 3 cards, please, for the time period of, okay? So that's the Page of Swords. So challenging information, delays or changes to plan, truth delivered without tact. Okay, so there's definitely gonna be some information coming in, and that will be that Mercury that I said. 2 more cards, please, for the time period between July 23rd and July 27th for Aries. Aries, July 23rd, July 27th. That's a 6. That's a 6. That's a 3. So, and there's that 3 again. So again, there's a doubling, like there was last week. There was the 4s went to the 8s. So there is chance to multiply if you find the place where all 3 can be happy. All right, so 2 more cards, please, for the time period of July 23rd to July 27th for Aries, please. Ooh. I'm like the fight out. Oh gosh, sorry. I didn't see that happen. The fight that my daughter had yesterday with like her dearest friends, like they were both wrong. And ultimately what they did, like my daughter overreacted. The girl did something she shouldn't have done, but it was something that perhaps under different emotional situations, they would have world card. Okay. So that information is going to turn the situation around. Very nice. Also a 3. And so they both ended up kind of apologizing. They one was trying to protect her ego. The other was trying to protect her vulnerability, her sensitive spots. It came out, it was an ego reaction, but they both decided that they wanted to be open to resolving it. And they both came together and said, okay, here's what I did. Here's what I did. And they squashed it relatively quickly. That may be what needs to happen here this week for you guys. 1 more card, please, for Aries, because whatever gets communicated is going to be the key to turn things around. Now, this may be in positive. You may have been looking for like a clue on how to unlock a situation. Okay, and then 4 of Swords. Yes, like I said, it's kind of a calming week. And Swords energy, so lots of information. So pay attention to be wide open to the information that's going to be coming to you this week. There is a message for you that will unlock wherever a situation or your mind or a relationship with people have come to deadlock. And it's possible that this past Sunday with the Moon Neptune conjunction, you already started getting a feeling of what it was. It looks like you'll start getting actual concrete like solid proof of what it is that, like how it is that you can unlock this situation. So it says, allow more time before making decision. Meditation may provide answers, and that whatever this key is that unlocks it is going to be the thing that turns the situation around and gets it moving. Now, I kind of want to read this one because I think this is interesting. This feels to me like this is, so since it's the only one that came out in reverse, it's kind of calling my attention. So let's see. 39, protecting treasure. You're always protected and divinely directed. Reversed. Do you too easily give your loyalty to those who haven't earned it? This is a time to assess your personal loyalties and discern whether they're being returned in kind. So that's an interesting thing about balance. And it's also interesting about that Persephone situation, right? She doesn't want to leave. She's being told that she has to leave, but she would actually stay with him. So there is an aspect of you, your loyalty not being returned. Some relationships are made for convenience and some favor one side over the other. Vulnerability born of fear may lead to being taken advantage of. That's interesting. Perhaps the imbalance in your relationships is due to a result of your bravery in the... Hold on, did I get that? No, I skipped a page. Sorry. Interesting. Perhaps the imbalance in your relationships is due to a conscious choice you've made. Okay, also interesting. Again, with that Pluto story. If so, make sure you aren't being hurt by the arrangement. If you believe you found some kind of protective refuge, be aware that there may be a price to pay. You may also need to reassess whether you're compromising yourself in any way to achieve what is an illusion of safety. Be true to your dream and remember that the angels will bring the right people your way to further the path of your highest good. Remain cautious and be conscious of the give and take in all relationships and projects at this time. Don't give away the farm for a smile. That's interesting. Okay, so that's also interesting that it's under this Four of Swords, that even in the information that you get, which you should remain wide open to receiving, it says to like just take a second. You see how they're both kind of like sleeping and hiding there? Like take a second to meditate on whatever it is before you jump into it. And it was funny when I was shuffling, I got the one that says that like not all the things that glitter is gold. So you may actually get a piece of information that looks better than it is, or looks like the piece that may be undoing it, but hang on a second. You might want to make sure, just like double check before you agree to it. Remember, this is still not a good time to start new anything. I would advise at least the end of the month when Mercury goes direct. Better if you can wait until August 11th, which is when Jupiter will go direct. And actually not accidentally, of course, Mercury goes back into Leo on August 11th, the same day that Jupiter goes direct. And so that's really going to be when you get the solution, like the proper solution, the workable solution to whatever is keeping you a little bit deadlocked right now. In the meantime, you're definitely going to get some information about how to proceed forward. And yes, it is possible that this is the information that unlocks everything. Where you need to make sure is that it's not a situation that throws you, or it's not an offer that throws you out of balance, right? So it's not Persephone has to stay here and you guys can just live in scorched earth. It's no, okay, great. Yes, I know you want to keep Persephone, but we need her up here too. So can we do a 6 months on, 6 months off kind of deal? So anywhere where you're going to be taken advantage, and I said this at the beginning, where it's like an either or, like either you win and they lose, those are situations that you want to stay away from, because this is also a 4, so balanced. And these are all kind of the 6 is also round numbers. So make sure that whatever comes in to you in terms of information is stuff that either makes everybody happy or makes everybody unhappy. That's when you know you have a good solution. No one should come out as the clear victor of anything. And if they are, it's because the offer is out of balance, and somehow you will end up being taken, not advantage of, but at some point you're going to wake up and be like, hey, that's not cool. Things have to be balanced here. So pay attention to all the offers that come into you this week before you jump in on them and say, yay, that's the thing I've been waiting for. Make sure that they are making everybody happy, that there's something for everyone, that you put in 12 hours, you get back 12 hours in one shape or form. It's like, even when you do, sometimes I'll do tarot readings for people for free. And the more you do that, the more you kind of throw off your energetic balance. So we kind of do some sort of exchange, something like, I'll do this for you, and then, maybe you help me with something else or buy me a coffee or whatever. But there needs to be some sort of exchange between things. They don't have to be kind for kind. It doesn't have to be money. But you have to make sure that you keep your energy and your exchanges with other people in balance. Otherwise, they get completely thrown off and you end up like hiding under an umbrella here, feeling attacked from all corners. Okay. Hope this was helpful. I will see you on Saturday, or I might do that podcast. We'll see. Anyway, if not, I'll definitely see you Saturday for the next weekly.